What's going on, my dudes? This is Mr. Gardner and this is Math Time with Mr. G. Today we're just going to do piecewise functions part 2. So we're going to make a piecewise function and a second piecewise function, and we're going to put them on the same graph. What we do, just as a reminder, is I'm going to graph this line. Then I'm going to go to this magic number and put an open dot because it's just greater than. And then we're going to keep the stuff we want. We want to keep everything greater than 1 and erase all the stuff that we don't want. Okay, now that we finished our first line, we're just going to go to our second line and do the same thing. We're going to graph this line, go to our magic number, and then it's going to be a closed dot because it's or equal to, and we're going to keep everything less than it. Alright, so we're going to do another example. Okay, so Mr. Gardner, these two numbers both end up on 0, and one is an open dot and which is the closed dot. So which one wins? The closed dot always wins. So picture it saying, I can get up to $1, and then your best friend said, I can get $1, and the two of you go into the store. How much do you have? You have $1. So if you have an open dot and a closed dot, the closed dot fills the open dot. So closed dot always wins. Now that we have this all together, what's it look like? It looks like an absolute value problem with the V shape. And that's why piecewise and absolute value are compared against each other. Okay, so what happens if x is in between two numbers? This means graph your line, go to each magic number, and erase the stuff that's not true, and there should be a line in the middle that stays and the ends that are erased. So where's piecewise useful? Let's read this word problem and determine where it's useful. So a gym owner wants to purchase custom wristbands for a marketing promotion. She thinks that she will need 75 bands. Her assistant insists that ordering over 100 wristbands will be less expensive than ordering 75. How can the assistant convince the owner? So what we're going to do is we're going to write a piecewise function given this information, graph it, and then prove that the 100 is cheaper than the 75. So I said that $2 per wristband plus $20 for shipping for all the wristbands between 0 and 50. I'm just going to do that for the next two. $1 per wristband plus $10 for shipping for 51 wristbands to 100. And then I said 50 cents per wristband plus free shipping for any wristband bigger than 100. So now we're just going to graph these three and then compare. So this is my first line of 0 to 50. So if I buy 50 wristbands, it's going to cost me about $120. If I buy 51, it's going to drop down to almost $60. So by buying 51, it is significantly cheaper than buying 50. And then this line goes up. If I buy 100, $110. But if I buy 101, it's only going to cost me $50. So it's cheaper to buy the 100 than the 75. So the gym owner should buy 101, even though they only need 75, because it'll be cheaper that way. Alright, if you guys have any questions, hit me up in the comments section. Other than that, be kind to each other, ask lots of questions, and think deeply.